Welcome back. It's still Thursday's edition of Morning Ride. Welcome to our interview segment. With us here, we have Dr. Donald Peterson, and he is the special advisor to the governor on entrepreneurship development. And he's going to be talking to us on capacity training, a panacea for human development and economic empowerment of the people in line with the more agenda of His Excellency. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, very quickly, Dr. Peterson, I want to talk about your speech at the seminar for school teachers on February 8th. You told a witty story about a child who said, "My daddy is a woman." Do you remember that?
Yes, very.
I said, my daddy is a man.
My daddy is a woman.
Jesus. I said, man, your daddy is a man.
My daddy is a woman.
I said, your daddy is a man.
My daddy is a woman.
I'm telling you man now. I'm telling you man. I'm giving you the answer. It's man. Say, my daddy is a man.
My daddy is a woman.
Your daddy is still a woman. Like, seriously, your daddy a woman. Let me know. I said,
All right. Okay, now tell us, how can training programs in Delta State help kids think creatively? Now, also tell us about this program.
Yeah. My speech that day
Yes.
was actually done few hours before that program.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the original speech prepared for it.
Okay.
But few hours before the program, my team and I stumbled over that video in the social media space, and we saw the value that video will actually, what the value represent in our today's world, between the struggles between generations, the millennia, the Gen Z, and the Generation Alpha. There is a mismatch, a misunderstanding between these generations, and we felt that yes, we could actually highlight the mismatch to help educators and our education managers to help understand the intricate nature of their field and help them navigate that minefield. And that was why we brought up that program. That video. Look at that video. The boy was about 5 or 6 years old,
Yes.
who says his mother, his father is a woman.
The woman.
And for all intent and purpose, if that child is being parented by just a single mother, who is the mother and who is the father? So what the guy is saying, the question is answering, is very correct. But the teacher is asking the question from the perspective of a balanced family, where you have the man and the woman, and the man is supposed to be the father, and the woman is supposed to be the mother. But that does not seem the case in today's world. So our educators and our education managers need to be alive to understand and upskill also to understand that the world is changing and things are very dynamic, for them to be able to key into the present challenges of life, as it were. So that was why we brought up that particular video, and it resonated very nicely with the educators, because it helped us to drive home the point for them to understand that there is a huge gap between generations, and for you to actually deal with a particular generation, you need to understand their thinking and their psyche. So, and here in Delta State, we have a government who is saddled with all these generations put together.
Okay.
From the baby boomers to the alpha generation. So then how then do you upskill them? How then do you communicate in a way that they will understand and deliver this goods in such a way that every aspect of this generation will feel very much welcome and at home with your program? So that is a very Herculean task for the government. And we in the Office of the Special Advisor on Entrepreneurship Development we've been saddled with the responsibility of rejigging the entrepreneurial space in Delta State by His Excellency. Because His Excellency, as you know him, is a no-nonsense and a target-driven person. So in that, we came up with several programs of how we can upscale. And in upscaling, some time ago, we discussed about the entrepreneurship program, which we Christian here in Delta State are Deltapreneurship. Under this Deltapreneurship, do not forget that you also have to catch them young. The Bible said, teach a child in the way of the Lord, and when he's grown, he will not depart from it.
Right.
You want somebody to be an entrepreneur, you have to start teaching him the entrepreneurship principles from when you're small. How then do you do that? So we have a program called Kidpreneurship, and we have the entrepreneurship. Under the entrepreneurship, you have the agropreneurship and you have the techpreneurship. And in doing all of this, you now have to fashion out a way of delivery of all this. The program we had recently is we're targeting the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the Generation Alpha that are coming behind the Gen Zs very closely. In such a way that we already have programs for the Gen Zs and older generation. Now, this new generation, how do we carry them along? We discovered that values has changed over time, where the bragging right is no longer how many novels you read, how intelligent you are, and all that. It is now with the quantity of alcohol you could drink, how the dance steps, how much you can spend and all that. All those things that are supposed to be aberration during our time. But how then do we understand them and be able to deliver this? Is to see how to go back to the good old days without dragging them to the past, but they won't follow you to the past.
Yeah.
So it is now to introduce the school program that reintroducing quiz, writings, and all the competition among them to first motivate them. When they are properly motivated, the Bible said iron sharpened iron. Once they are motivated, it means that you are firing up their engine. Okay. Once the engine is firing up, the kind of quiz and questions that will be thrown at them will be geared towards preparing their mind for entrepreneurship.
Okay. All right, Dr. Donald, you talked about how important it is for students to learn about their local economy and resources. Now, how can training, as you're talking about now, help improve job and self-reliance in Delta State?
It's very easy. First, you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
So for you to give, you have to have it. And for you to have it, you have to have the power to actually create it. And they said knowledge is power. So you have to, first of all, infuse knowledge into them. So which is what we're trying to do. We have to infuse knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge that is not very common. Knowledge of entrepreneurship. Preparing a mind shift. How do you shift their mind? You can't just take their head and move from point A to point B. You have to gradually do that subtly in terms of the questions they are thrown at. The questions they have been quizzed on, and how they answer these questions, motivations, incentives, and all that. And before you know, they start going towards that. But I want to tell you this: Delta State is very well blessed. With a few minutes ago, we were talking about electricity generation and all that. You look at first your lowest hanging fruit. We are Delta. We are uniquely positioned. We have the sea and we have the upland. The sea, you have the wave technology. Some states don't have access to the sea, but we have it. So we can genuinely generate and effectively generate electricity from the wave. But how many people know that? It's when you educate people, you let people know it, and you prepare yourself, because Delta State is a unique bride. And what the government is trying to do is a unique bride, but that needs to be very well prepared, for the bridegroom. So that's what we're trying to do, to let people know that this knowledge are not hidden, but it's just that, as they say, when you want to hide things from an African, you put it in the pages of the book. But thank God for resilience and thank God for research and knowledge. Some of us have gone into those books to find out those knowledge and start exposing them and bringing them out for people to use and reuse. So the issue is, once we can upskill people, it is a lot easier to increase productivity. How? Before now, we hear, go and learn how to become a carpenter. How to become a carpenter is to cut a nail. But there are a lot of things you can actually do with AI. With AI now, you can design the kind of table or furniture that you want in the metaverse. Then you can have machines bring up that design to life. So instead of telling you to just go and learn carpentry, you can actually learn that and learn artificial intelligence on how to enhance it. That's the upscaling that we're talking about. So we have to move with the trend of the world today. And that is what the government in Delta State is trying to do. It's a very difficult thing. It's a very Herculean task to change people's mind. It doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. You find resistance, you find criticism and all that. But with time, people will appreciate it and see it.
Okay, so Dr. Donald, if I understand the crux of the conversation, all of this is geared towards human development, right?
Exactly.
So the question I want to ask is, what metrics or what are the yardsticks that can be used in evaluating the impact of human capacity training as it comes to human development? What do you use in measuring these to ensure that, okay, these people have been trained, we've impacted on them, and then we've done our job at the end of the day?
Yes, increase in productivity. Once you can find increase in productivity will lead you to be able to address unemployment and underemployment, because people will become more creative and more productive. If you look at the numbers between all these years that PDP has been in government in Delta State, it's been progressive. Upskilling and training have been progressive. But what we are now doing is going into those specialized skills, saying that, okay, I'll give you an example. Some years ago, it's easier for you to have people going into animal husbandry. They sell, you have snail, you have a farm for snail, and what you are doing with that farm is actually to sell these snails as meat, right? But now we're not saying no, you don't have to sell these snails as meat, because most snails, the lifespan of a snail is between 5 to 10 years, depending on the species. You can actually sell the slime first and wait for when it's 3.5 years to 4 years and sell the meat. And even when you sell the meat, okay, I'll tell you, the slime of a snail, 1 gallon, which is 4 liters, is about $20,000. Are you aware of that? You can fact check me, Google it. You see?
True.
So, which one is easier for you to sell the snail or just to sell the slime? Now, even the snail itself, if you want to sell it locally, a snail average size is about 3,000 to 4,000 naira in the market. But you know that snail that is 3,000 to 4,000 naira in Nigerian market is actually $6 in America. And the cost of you sending one snail to America, is less than 22 cents. So if you add that 22 cents to your 3,000, we give you probably about 4,000 something. Okay. Now, if you have that and you're selling it for $6,000 now, is about 11,000 something dollars. So you're probably making about 5,000 on each snails. So is that extra knowledge, that wittiness that we are teaching the businessmen and women that are Deltans. Don't forget that we are Deltans. We know they carry last.
At all.
Exactly. We are smart people.
Okay, Dr. Donald, I'm going to come back to where you talked about AI, because I'm very much interested in that. But very quickly, let's still dwell on your speech, where you also mentioned the need for students to aim for excellence. Now, how can the government and others help training programs that encourages students to do their best in school?
First is train the trainers. Government is trying very much to train teachers
Okay.
and also well-to-do individuals and well-to-do Deltans. You also help to train these teachers where you send them on courses, a lot of courses, because you can't give what you don't have. So that when they come back, they will give better quality teaching. And also, as you know, presently Delta State is on the drive to modernize most of our schools, repainting, re-roofing, putting chairs, even changing some what we used during our time was blackboard.
Okay, yes.
So now what they call whiteboard and interactive
Whiteboard,
board.
yes.
There are some schools you go to, they have interactive board, So government is trying all that. But you see, each year the resources is dwindling because the population is growing, and probably our main resource in Nigeria, the price is not very stable. It reacts with the international market prices, and when we're not earning enough, so resources is not as much. The government is trying, and individuals too should also help government to see how we can improve on the lot of teachers.
Okay. Dr. Donald, your foundation helps schools to do better with programs like the Peterson Education Olympiad. If I'm correct with that, Olympiad, right? Okay, now how can government support and grow these programs to create a skilled workforce and help people in Delta State?
Yeah, when you have people whose mind are very well fired up
Okay.
and geared towards education, and it means that you are bound to produce brilliant people. Brilliant people, not just in academics, brilliant people in life, intelligent people. And when people are intelligent, they could do anything. There are a lot of people who have invented things that are not even schooled, But what we are doing in Delta State is to see that we produce brilliant minds that can help in turning things around.
Okay, so Dr. Donald, in as much as you've listed these beautiful things, we can all agree that nothing good really comes easy. So I'm going to ask, what are some of the potential challenges and limitations when it comes to capacity training? Because mind you, you're dealing with people from different belief system, creed, background, ethnicity, and the likes of them. So what are some of the potential challenges you people have faced and limitations when it comes to capacity training in human development as regards entrepreneurship in Delta State?
Yeah, for whatever you want to do, you must know that there will be a lot of challenges which we know of. But here, because we are dealing with quite a number of generations, the belief system also is there. And also, some people just believe that, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. He shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory through Christ Jesus. That is it. Today he will give me my daily bread. He'll give you your daily bread. But have you forgotten he said he will bless the work of your hands?
That's right.
They don't go further to check that. So some people are just keyed into that particular verse, and that is it. They don't want to work hard. And some people want to work hard, but they don't want to work smart. Back in the days, hard work pays.
True.
But now, you don't just have to work hard, you have to add smartness to it. Smartness to hard work will give you success. When I mean smartness, please don't get it twisted. Smartness simply means brilliance, intelligence, not wayo. You understand? Yes. So that's what we're dealing with. And to get people to shift from their set ways is actually very difficult. And of course, you have the master of them all, your patapata of them all, which is skepticism. When you first come and you're saying this thing, people look at you and, oh, yeah, he comes again. Are you sure he's not doing it for something? Or maybe he's doing it for vote. He's doing it for, and all that. But one is just doing it because you've been asked to do it. If, for God's sake, if you've been appointed into a position and you've been given a task, posterity will judge you for whatever you have done with that. So you should make yourself responsible for that particular position that you're in. And that's what we're doing. And it's not been easy to let people know that the reason why we are doing this is for your own good. And people say, is that how much you like me that you are doing that? It's not me that is liking you. It is the state government. You are state government responsibility. And it is my responsibility to execute the governor's directive. So those are some of the challenges. But in all, we turn it into comedy and we make it a lot easier for people to swallow and us to be able to relax while doing the same thing.
Okay, Dr. Donald, what strategies are in place to ensure that capacity training programs cater the unique needs of various communities and demographics throughout the state? Now, link that up with ways with which the government can assess the effectiveness and impact of capacity training initiative on overall human development outcomes.
Yeah, if you look at the way Delta State is, it's very unique.
Yes.
We have the upland, we have the riverine, and all that. And in all of these things, there are blessings to all of it. And what the government of Delta State is doing is Delta State government understood this uniqueness that we have, and we have various programs for areas, taking into cognizance our uniqueness and also the age differences and all that. Like in our office, we have programs for the retired, for the aged. We would call transgenerational wealth creator using coconuts. We have the ones for the young minds, which is techpreneurship for those ones who are techie. It's not everybody that is techie. We have the ones that are interested in agro, but they cannot go to the farms, because of insecurity. We have the agropreneurship program, and now we're having the kidpreneurship program. So we have taken almost 2 years to incubate all this program, fine-tune it, test it to see that it works. Now we are launching in March from Unidel. We're starting with techpreneurship in Unidel in March, and I would like you to come cover it and see it and also follow through with that program to see how well that program will impact the young ones. And after that, we'll follow again through with the agropreneurship program also there. Once we get it right, and getting it right is the feedback from the public, then we'll spread it around.
Okay, Dr. Donald, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of questions for you, and I feel really bad that we'll have to let you go. But promise us that you'll come back so we can utilize and ask you more of these questions.
Our boss, the governor, has already said we're your servant. Anytime you need us, it's just a call.
Okay.
We're here to serve you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So it's there online, so we'll hold you responsible for your words.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Donald. We've been speaking extensively with the special advisor to the governor on entrepreneurship development in person of Dr. Donald Peterson, and he's been talking to us on capacity training, a panacea for human development and economic empowerment of the people in line with the more agenda of His Excellency. It's been a beautiful conversation. Okay, this is where we draw the curtain, sadly, but remember that we'll be back here tomorrow bright and early for another edition of Morning Ride. Your last words, Pepe.
Okay, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, which is going to be tomorrow, from the little that God has blessed you with, we know that the world is hard enough already. Be a blessing to others. And if you don't have anything materially to give someone, a listening ear is an act of love. Psychosocial support is an act of love. Showing someone encouragement is an act of love. Even a hug genuinely is an act of love. Just be a genuine person. Okay?
All right, from me to you, let's give a special shout out to our supervising producer in person of Nimibofa Ozibo and our producer Nkechika. And of course, the band behind the MC are in person of Alex Afodo, our cameramen in person of Uche and Eunice. Thank you so much. We see the work that you put in and we appreciate you. On behalf of board management and staff, from me to you, I'm saying be kind in your words and in your actions. I'm Chizi Awuno. Remember that if you see something, do say something. Good morning. God bless Delta State and God bless Nigeria.